Hey, we're ready to rock. Clerk Kramer, could you put the time down for the call to order, please? And then now, Clerk Kramer, could you take roll call, please?
Alderman Taylor?
Here.
Alderman Severnick?
Here.
Alderman Langdon?
Here.
Alderman Schmidt?
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady?
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady?
Here.
Alderman Rapella?
Here.
Alderman Nichols?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. All right. First one is the minutes to approve for March 15th, 2021. Alderman Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 15th, 2021.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Randy. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Aye. See none. Minutes are approved. All right. First one for the discussion / action items. It's a change order. Alderman Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the change order water main reconstruction Don Hippus and Sons Inc. contract number M009-20-00-334 at $30,543.10, change order number 1.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Randy. Second by Alderman.
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Randy. Any discussion? Alderman Grady, discussion?
Yes, I do. I don't know if anybody's from the utilities company, but we had to move that electrical pole, which was close to $1 million, 900 some thousand.
Yeah.
Now we're getting hit with another 35,000, and this money is getting charged to the city residents, and I'm not happy with it. I mean, the DOT, I can't say screwed up or whatever, but they probably just kept their mouth shut. They didn't want to know about the utility pole on the end, and that should have been part of the cost of the bridge construction. And now the taxpayers of Menasha are picking up close to $1 million for this reconstruction or whatever we have to do. And I just think it's wrong. And just so you know, I'm not voting for this.
Alderman Severnick.
I just wanted to say it's the ratepayers, not the taxpayers, but I think he knew that. I just want to make sure the public knew that. Okay.
So, Director Corey, are you out there?
I am.
So, I'm not happy with this. Absolutely not. I am with Alderman Grady. Is there any way that this can be pushed back onto them?
Onto the contractor?
Yeah. Why should the taxpayers cough up that money again and they get off the hook? I'm with Alderman Grady, so please share.
This is not our item, so I'm speaking on.
Corey, this is Adam Smith from Menasha Utilities.
All right, good deal.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Sorry, thank you. Basically, what this was is when our engineering firm put together the bid package, they did not include the language for the American Iron and Steel, which is mandatory to be used on any federal funding. So in order to pay for the water main replacement for this year, we are borrowing safe drinking water funding, which is a federal grant or federal loan. So if you use the federal dollars, you have to use American Iron and Steel products. You have to incorporate the disadvantaged business enterprises, prevailing wages. There's a lot of requirements that have to be followed when you're using federal money, which it doesn't make sense. but unfortunately the language was not in the bid packet. So the contractor bid fittings and some other materials not using the American iron and steel. When we caught this, we had to go back, and they had to basically put a new bid in. And that's where the change order come in for the use of these materials. They still are the low bidder, and also this project, even with this change order, is still under budget. What was budgeted for the year?
Okay. Alderman Sevenick.
What I wanted to say is that, I mean, I understand Ted's concern, but that's bigger than what this is. I mean, if the utilities wanted to, it has nothing to do right now with the contractor. It has to do with DOT, and maybe the utilities needs the pressure
Right.
DOT. Okay, so let's be clear on that. So that's not related to this. But the contractor, and my question is for the gentleman who just spoke from Menasha Utilities. Why is that this contractor, even though it is under bid, wasn't aware of this? So
Yeah.
then they bring it forward, and then we have to approve it. And then, like, when people make mistakes, especially when it's in government or utilities, and this happens a lot with the utilities, it comes back, and then nobody gets punished for their errors. If I were to do something like this, or any one of us, we would be either fired or brought out on the rails or whatever. So
Yeah.
can you, and I swear this is a speech I gave probably about 2 years ago, if you guys remember.
Yep.
It's the same thing. So
Same thing.
if do you have an answer for me on this? Why did the contractor not, if he's bidding on this project, not be aware of these rules? Was it just because he wasn't aware of the fact where utilities was getting the money?
Yes, that is correct. This is the first time we've used safe drinking water funding in the last several years. So they weren't aware that we were going to be using the federal funding
Okay.
for this project.
You answered my questions. You answered my question. We don't have to talk about it anymore. So I understand it now, Chair. So I think we should approve this.
Alderman Nichols.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Adam, are these forgivable loans?
They are not principal forgiveness. However, they are really low interest loans.
Okay. And this federal law that we're required to follow because it is federal money, is that a relatively new law?
It is not. And, it's definitely going forward, we're going to make sure that all the language is there. It was only missing the one paragraph that's included in the change order. However, I mean, that's still, our engineers have taken ownership. Myself, Melanie, we've all taken ownership for this. It was not caught prior to bid, and we take accountability for it.
And thank you for that. I was thinking that these might be different kinds of funds, and I don't have issue with supporting this at all. And frankly, I think it's good that we'll be using American steel and supporting American workers. So thank you.
Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I too support that we have American products, American workers, and certainly it sounds like there's going to be a change at the federal level that we're going to try to, give incentives to businesses that are in this country, and that's great. And something Alderman Grady said before about, with this project, $1 million, whatever, to bore under the river, or 2 million, whatever that was with this project. None of us knew all those numbers before this project, and being on the council 20 some years is, I see these things happening, and that's why I ask on these big projects that we have this all laid out in front of us. It helps Alderman Severnick's question about who didn't do their job and what we have to expect of this. So, you know, if it's this project that we didn't know completely about, or the Boston Canal project that we don't have all the numbers on in the future. So that's all I'm asking, is that we have a itemized and figure out exactly what the dollar amounts are before we start this. And this project is also in regards to the Racine Street Bridge, and we need to have our two state officials informed and speak before us on how they're going to help us with this project, and hopefully bring it onto the floor of the legislature and the Senate. So I think we need to invite Mr. Roth and Ms. Snodgrass to come and speak before us on these projects. Thank you.
Alderman Ted Grady. Oh, yeah.
Nope, you're fine.
Alderman, go ahead, Ted.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
I guess totally agree with, you know, the ad, but I'm just upset with, you know, always adding on to the cost of the taxpayers. But probably it's not going to happen. But let's, for example, Adam, if we would say no to this, who would pick up this $35,000?
Well, we can look into not completing the project and not, you know, funding the project through operation and maintenance funds rather than borrowing for it. But yet the magnitude of the project would be scaled back tremendously.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Nichols. Becky?
Thank you, Chair. Adam, could you just verify what this project is? I'm sensing some confusion on this.
Yeah, I did sense the same. This is the water main project. We set these up annually just to replace the water main under certain streets. This has nothing to do with the DOT bridge project. This is just routine water main reconstruction. And I have, we've met several times with Corey and engineering and Laura and really planned these streets out to have water main reconstruction and try to work with you know, the road paving and things of that, so that we're being more responsible with the funds and ratepayers and taxpayers. So I just wanted to include that.
Thank you for clearing that up. And this also helps with replacing lead service lines in the city, correct?
That is correct. We also replace all the lead service lines on any street that we are doing water main reconstruction. So we're trying to, like I said earlier, we're just really trying to get the biggest bang for our buck.
And some of these streets where the water main is being replaced line up with street construction projects that will be happening this year as well?
That is correct. And we take that into account looking at streets that we are going to replace. You know, how many lead service lines are there on that street? What's the fire flows on that street, road condition, age of the main, you know, number of main breaks. These are all things that are taken into account when we decide which water mains to replace and things like that.
Great. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
Alderman Taylor?
Thank you, Chair. Adam, I know the city, Alderman Severnick's been pushing this myself with stimulus money that's coming out of Washington, D.C. If they put this next public works projects forward, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of money again for water main. They want to do the whole country. So I hope your agency is is watching that closely, and we'll see how that progresses. Thank you.
Any other comment? See none, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye, thanks for the clarification, Rebecca.
Alderman Rapella.
Yeah.
Alderman Rapella,
Oh,
You keep muting yourself, Randy.
oh,
is
Say
that
it
an aye?
again.
You need
Alderman
to vote,
Nichols?
Randy.
Why? Why do you keep muting? Randy, say aye.
Alderman
Randy, what?
Rapella,
Voted.
no, I'm good. I'm good.
There you go.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk. Okay, number 2 is the authorized, we have number 2, Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make
Yeah.
a motion for the authorization to execute Wisconsin DOT Bridge Operation Agreement for fiscal 2022.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second it. Alderman Ann Schmidt, and you second it? Yes. Alderman Ann, second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Taylor.
No, I'm good. I was just, my
Oh,
computer said it was getting low, but I got everything plugged in,
Okay.
so I'm good.
Director Adam. You got,
Sure.
some-
If I,
yeah,
my comments are this is our annual bridge operation agreement that we enter into with the state of Wisconsin to operate the Taco and Racine Street Bridge. And it's essentially, it's word for word for the last couple of years agreement, other than the dates. And the dates are, this agreement runs from July 1 of 2021 through June 30th of 2022. And it would be for providing reimbursement to the city for operating both the Taco and the Racine Street Bridge for this fiscal period. I suspect then, provided state statute doesn't change and that we are on the hook for the Racine Street Bridge operations moving forward, then next year's agreement obviously will be different, and we'll have to take a much closer look at that agreement then.
thank you. And Alderman Sevenick.
Thank you. I don't know who I'm going to direct this to, either Adam or Corey, but with the bridge operation going on, how is that? Do we expect that to be open less this year because of the construction? Are there going to be times when it's not open, or they seem very busy in the right of way for the boats? So, no one?
To answer Alderman Sevenick's question, right now I was working on a letter to go with Diane's letter to the boat rental customers. Navigation through the bridge will be maintained. There will be times where there are delays. It's just the nature of the project. They have the crane on the barge and things of that nature there. We're asking that boaters radio in, have some patience. Obviously, those things don't move easy, so there will be a little bit of time to get that out of the way. Boaters coming from Lake Winnebago will have to stay back a fair distance because they will have to move those barges and that crane up current, and they'll need room to be able to do that. So we are giving them a letter describing all of that. The boat traffic in the past was able to travel through the second span of the existing bridge. They will not be able to do that at this point. So some of those boats that avoided a lift will have to have a lift now, just because, again, the nature of the project and where a lot of their equipment and the sheet pile and cofferdams and whatnot, that area is more or less congested at this time.
So will everybody that at least is in our marina get a letter from Diane or from the city?
Correct. We're
Explaining.
going to try to piggyback something on Diane's letter.
Okay.
We just started it today. So.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk. Number 3, cold storage, Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make a motion to approve the cold storage facility construction and I think it's 185,000. There should have been another zero there, but a period, but for the amount of 185,000.
Yeah. Okay, have a motion. Do I have a second? Alderman Randy. Okay, any discussion? Alderman Sevenick. All right, first we should go to Director Adam to let him speak on this first.
Sure, if I may, and I apologize for the agenda. Originally, the thought was, after having consulted with the USDA, was just to run it through as a PCI, because we have sufficient funds in the project contingency. However, in doing so, in trying to line up a contractor to do this work for us, chances are they would not be able to complete the project until sometime in September. Well, we're planning on having the project for the most part done by mid-June, and we certainly don't feel it's necessary to, I guess, maintain the relationship with Myron beyond that. If we go through Myron would be the one that would be executing the contract with the contractor, would expect to provide oversight. All of this would add unnecessary costs to this project. So what we're trying to do is, again, we called out for the facility or the cold storage building and the vehicle wash bay, and we bid those alternately as alternate bids with the hope of being able to do one, much less be in a position now that we're further along in the project that we actually believe that we're able or will be able to afford to be able to do not only do the wash bay, but also be able to construct a cold storage building, which is a shared building, not just for public works. So what we're looking for is approval, authorization to actually put this out for bids and see where we come in at. We feel pretty confident in the dollar amount, 185 for a building of about 100 feet by 60 feet. So that's what we're looking for, is approval to actually go through the process and bid this.
Thank you. Alderman Sevenick.
I thought we just had a building over there, and that got taken down. Remember my speech, everyone? But anyways, I'm glad to see that this building, Adam didn't say it, but it will also be shared with the police department. And I think that's pretty important. I'm actually surprised our police department hasn't had something like this. So I'm in favor of this project.
Thank you. Alderman Ted Grady.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
Questions probably for Director Alex. We had a contingency plan, $400-some thousand, which is great. You guys stayed under budget. You did everything you could do. The only question I have is there some money that you're thinking you're getting back? $102,000, correct?
Correct.
Is that a for certain, or is that just, I hope we get it, because, I just want to know your comfort on that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't list it here if I wasn't confident in getting that back. So we were meeting, pretty much regular weekly with Myron Construction and the architect, and there's allowances that are built into this contract with Myron, and there's allowances built in within some of their subs, and I'm being told that we might even see some more money come back. But these three items here that we have listed are items that we know we're not going to run into any winter conditions. That 75,000 allowance was put in there so that if we had to run temporary heat, we don't need to do that. That's a for sure. Testing of the materials. However, I did see them out there twice this week. Doing some testing, so that number might shrink just a little bit, but it wasn't much at all. And then there is no more planned reproduction costs coming. So 99% sure that you're going to see that additional $89,000.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Is the one, I mean, is there like a date or something that they can say, okay, you're going to get this money back by such a time, or is there any commitment on their end?
So it's not like we're going to get money back. It's just that we're not going to need to pay them the full
Right.
$10,356,000. So,
Okay.
so that's what's going to happen is that they're going to send the bills as the costs are incurred, and this is just showing us that we're going to be under that $10,356,000. So.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
All righty, Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. Adam, I just want to say it's been great working with you throughout this project with the council, and the project contingency summary has always been a great tool for us to keep us informed with the numbers, and I appreciate that throughout this project. Thank you.
Alderman Becky.
Thank you.
Yep.
Director Alex, I am curious about why you might be requesting a smaller building than the one that was originally there, given that you are proposing to share this space with the police department.
Sure. So the original cold storage building there, minus the sign shop, was 60 by 120. So as we were designing, laying out the plans, we just asked that let's put another 60 by 120 building there. Not knowing full well, but uncertain as to how much space we were going to need. Again, when we laid out the new facility, I mean, I sort of cut things to scale and kind of laid them all out, and felt as though they're pretty confident with what we were building with the new facility that this cold storage building may or we could get by without it for a while if we had to. And likewise, feel as though that maybe we don't necessarily need all of that space. Some of that 60 by 120 space was earmarked for the traffic signals and the street lights. All of that has already been moved over and placed into the new facility and has its home. So maybe the 60 by 1, we're pretty confident that we can get by with that 104 by 60. But I don't know if you guys are like me. It's like, I mean, if you have the space, you end up filling it up. Now, sometimes we're our own worst enemies in doing that, but maybe, we could certainly look at alternate bidding it. But, there again, I think that the 104 by 60 is probably adequate. And then the other driving factor in my mind, I guess, is cost. I'd like to make sure that we do stay under budget and would like a little bit more of a cushion. So that's where, talking with Deputy Director Brown and Superintendent McDonald and Chief Stika, that the 104 by 60 could be adequate for us.
Tim, are
Yeah.
you out there? Yeah, yeah. Are you out there, Tim?
Yep. Just gotta
Yeah.
re-click
Okay.
everything here.
Yeah. So yeah, Adam, you're going to be sharing this, which is phenomenal. Do you have any? Would you like to comment on this also? That you think is it big enough? Is it going to be enough room for both of you?
Well, I think Adam hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's just like if you build a 2-car garage, you wish you had a 3, and if you had a 3, you probably wish you had a 4. So you will fill the space no matter how it looks. But I think Adam really explained it 100% correctly. This was on the very original plan, something we had talked about. We've certainly run into some issues over the years of accountability, and this is kind of the last phase as far as the police department's concerned, when the council approved the addition on the public safety building for the evidence storage. We do have some things in there that we probably shouldn't, as far as flammable materials, and it should not be in our building. We knew that this is a long-term type of thing to go forward with. So to be able to have this storage facility, which for the PD side of it is actually divided into 2 sections. One is more for vehicles and some of the higher value type of things that we'll have very limited access to. Then the other side of it will be for things like bike storage and some of the other things that doesn't have as high of level of security that we need. So this really kind of completes the puzzle of the things that have been recommended to us through our accreditation process of what we should be doing as a police department. So yeah,
Cool.
it would be great.
Awesome. Alderman Becky.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And that smaller footprint, getting back to my first question, the smaller footprint you're thinking will accommodate the needs of today. That facility is going to be there for 30 to 50 years. More. So, I mean, how do you plan for that? You know, I mean, if we're working on just what we need for today, how do we know what we need for the next 50 to 60 years? And how do we make sure that we account for that?
It's a good question. And again, if, you know, and maybe it does make sense to, you know, we could certainly alternate bid, like I had mentioned, you know, the 20 by 160 and the 104 by 60. And in the meantime, we can maybe take I guess, a little closer look at what we feel needs to go in there yet, and see where the numbers come in at. And obviously, we'll bring this back to you folks once we have some numbers and have a little better idea what we're dealing with.
Thank you for that. Chief Styka, can I ask your thoughts on that question?
I think if you're really looking at the 30 to 50 year plan, the public safety building is something that's going to have to be completely looked at. That is the one facility that's still from the 70s that is tired. We certainly have done a lot to make it good for the next, hopefully, decade, 15 years. So I think it's going to be something that when we look at how that public safety building is going to be looked at, and I'm sure Kevin has some ideas, because obviously that building was built with admin offices and things like that for the fire side. So it's a little bit difficult from that crystal ball, but if you want to look at it from the 10 to 15 year plan, right now we have nothing. And it's been something that's been concerning to us as far as evidentiary purposes and maintaining custody of the evidence that we store. So looking at that 10 to 15 year plan, I'm very comfortable with working with Adam and the amount of space that we've allocated for it at this point.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alderman Sedgwick.
Thank you, Chair. I guess my question then to Adam would be, we have the space out there to make it bigger? Because it looks like, well, we might have a surplus of $300,000 here. So, you know, it's either go big or go home. So what are your thoughts?
So With the new facility, obviously to handle the stormwater and to make sure that it drains so we can get it all to Plank Road, we actually raised the elevation of the site up quite a bit. So we'll have to take a look at that. Where we're planning to put this building, we do have the radio tower is not too far from there. That's where we laid out that original footprint of the 60 by 120. We know that will fit. We could certainly look at going a little bit larger, but again, let me do this. Let me put together a bid for the building, and we can look at maybe 2 or 3 different sizes and see where the numbers come in at.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, keep it open.
Yep, that sounds good. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman
I have
Taylor,
a question before we go.
Oh, okay. Alderman Stan.
I'm gonna ask the clerk if she would reread the motion, basically. Because I'm not sure if it was the right motion.
so the original motion on the floor was to approve the cold storage facility construction add of 185,000. But then after Director Alex had mentioned that it is to request bids for the construction of a cold storage facility or a cold storage building at the Public Works facility,
Right.
the recommended motion may change. Alderman Taylor, did you want to correct that motion or still stick with your original?
I'm reading it from the document here, so, whatever the council is comfortable with.
Sure.
Chair,
Yeah, Alderman Stan, go ahead.
the recommended motion was to approve the request bids,
Yeah.
plural, for construction of a cold storage building at the Public Works facility. I think that's what Adam is looking for, especially with the fact that he may look for alternative bids. And I think, everybody's been kind of chiming in on that, so I think that's what the recommended motion should be.
I'll go ahead and make that, Stan.
Sure. Now,
But-
would this be an amendment, Stan?
Okay, I'll offer it as an amendment to
Sure.
how the motion should read, if that's okay
Yeah.
with the
Go
clerk.
go ahead. Go
And
ahead.
that recommended motion was for approval to request bids or alternative bids for the construction of a cold storage building at the Public Works facility.
Is there a second? Alderman,
I'll
second that. Alderman Tom Grady, second. Discussion to the amendment? Seeing no one, roll call, clerk?
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, clerk.
I
Should
think
we
we need to vote
dispose?
one more time because that
Right.
was sort of an amendment, so.
Yes, Alderman, go ahead, Stan, or go ahead, James.
No, but
Stan,
I'm going to get ready to vote that other motion.
Stan,
basically what this is now is that we're voting on the amended motion.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, Haley?
Clerk, you have that, we're voting on the amendment now.
Yes, correct.
Okay, roll call, please.
The amended,
Taylor?
mo-
Go ahead. Go ahead, Stan.
we're voting on the original, the amended motion.
Correct.
Yes.
Not the amendment. We already voted on the amendment. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay.
Alderman Taylor,
We're disposing of my first one, right?
Yes,
Right. Okay, thank you.
yes.
Okay. So.
Alderman Taylor,
Hey,
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-1.
Chair,
Thank you, clerk.
Haley, could you change mine because I made a mistake? I thought I was voting down my
Yeah.
first to dispose of it.
I didn't think you meant that.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Yep.
Thank
Yours is an I.
Right.
Also, yeah. Clerk, you got that down? I don't think he meant that. He pulled that. I'll allow him to pull that out and vote aye for that.
Right.
Motion.
Got it.
Okay. All righty. Stan. Yep.
I just want to make it clear then, when I made my motion, I kind of added something, which was alternative bids. So to give Adam some
Yes.
leeway for some of the other things that the rest of the council was looking at. Alrighty.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did
and-
catch
and
that.
there's
Thank
no-
you.
And Adam, you have that. All right. We're good to go. Alderman Taylor.
Motion to adjourn?
Second that.
Motion to adjourn by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Grady. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor on adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay? We're approved. We're approved. We're approved for adjournment. All right. We're approved for.
Light committee
All right.
meeting the
Good to see
14th.
everyone.
Check
Stay
your email.
safe.
Come on Wednesday. 14th to Wednesday. Check